Well, hello there, motherfuckers. Remember Pokemon Go? Oh yeah. You remember that shit? It's really hard to believe, but like, Pokemon Go really started to lose popularity. I'd say almost as September hit. It was almost like that. It was gone. It was done. It's like no one's playing that fucking game anymore. And really looking back on it, it's like I'm not gonna really like shame myself or anything like that. It was fun for what it was. It got you to go to certain areas and hunt around. It was kind of like a community-based thing. No one fucking talked to one another. God forbid we talked to one another. But it got you to stand around other people somewhat. Anyway, it was cool to go around with friends and try to catch different Pokemon. It was mindless fun. I mean, there was no battling element to it at all. It was just basically throwing fucking Pokeballs at, Pokemon and hoping that that you catch them. And the other thing that they updated that game with that really started to piss me off is when the Pokemon started running away. And I think for a lot of people, I never really understood the footprint thing. I don't even think that really worked. Also, they started banning people for using that Pokemon locator app or website, whatever it fucking was. And a lot of people started getting really turned off to the fucking game. There was a lot of things to like about it, and a lot of things, but probably even more to dislike about it. Really, when you think about it, it didn't really have one of the most important elements of Pokemon. And that was the battling, the gym battles. But then, I never had a gym battle in that game, but I was watching somebody else, have it, and it was just a fucking retarded-ass battle system. It really made no fucking sense. And when you really think about just how, simplistic and good the Pokemon, handheld, battling mechanisms work and shit, the mechanics, they're great. They shouldn't even be tampered with. But they did have to modify it, I guess, slightly for, the mobile app. So there was a lot, to really dislike about that game, and the battling element really was pissing people off. That was one of it, and there was just too many changes to the game. Like I said, Pokemon were running away like crazy, throwing balls at them with very little success rate, and when you really happened upon a rare Pokemon and then they just suddenly fled from the screen, it was fucking infuriating. You don't necessarily want to throw your fucking $600 phone across the fucking street, but you kind of did feel like it because it's that frustrating. A lot of hours being poured into that fucking game, and then when you meet with failure, it's not a good feeling. Also, I always kind of question throwing a Poke. It was very strange. It's also like in the games. Do you guys ever feel like sometimes when you hold the button down that you have a greater success rate at catching Pokemon? I kind of felt like there was this weird thing where I would throw the Pokeball and it never seemed like it would be able to hold them. But the minute I threw the ball, started tapping it like a fucking madman, like I'm on fucking speed or some shit, tapping it so fucking quickly, and then as the ball closed on the ground, on screen, I'd hold my finger there, and I kind of felt more confident. And that's kind of like they had this down in B or down in A trick ever since the first Pokemon game, and it was kind of like a myth. But I always felt like I could catch it, and it was called, people would call it the Master Ball code, or the Master Ball trick, and it would trick the game into thinking that you were throwing a Master Ball, and it wasn't the case. What I think it is it makes you feel more confident throwing the ball. But sometimes I could fucking swear the minute I hold my finger down on the fucking button when I'm throwing the ball, I feel like there's a greater success rate at catching it. I don't know what it fucking is. It just feels that way. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there as just a little bit of a conversation piece, I guess. So, you know, your memories of Pokemon Go, what kind of memories do you have of it? Share them with me. I had some good memories of the game, but it's like there's no reason now to play it. We've got Pokemon Sun. Listen, guys, I know what the whole point of Pokemon Go was. Pokemon was like, you know, it was popular, but, you know, I think X and Y sold well, right? But it didn't really feel like Pokemon was going anywhere. But it was like with Pokemon Go, it was like somebody like fucking grabbing you. Hey! Pay attention to Pokemon, asshole! Whoa! I mean, it was like, yeah. Alright, oh, hey, look, Sun and Moon's coming out. Gotta buy that. And that's what it was all about. I don't think Pokemon Go was ever really meant to be this amazing, great fucking game. I think it was meant to be a little bit of a distraction so it could promote Sun and Moon, which are the games that we're all familiar with, the main series. And, you know, get people interested in, you know, the Pokemon Sun has changed a couple of things with the game mechanics, but not majorly. It's just enough where it feels fresh in certain departments. So they wanted people to really take notice of this game. There's also rumors that this might be the final Pokemon game in the series. That's fucking bullshit. It is not. Anything that makes money is never going to end. Well, in certain cases. But anyway, besides the fucking point, Pokemon is a business. So, you know, they Nintendo wanted what was it? Niantic or whatever. Myatlanta. I don't fucking know. I think it's Niantic. They got them to make this game, and it's like, you know, just make this fucking game for us. Put the Pokemon in there, because we've got a more important game to sell later in the year. And that's exactly what happened. And people, once again, were lining up for the Pokemon games and shit. And that's what they really wanted all along. They just wanted something to whet your appetite. I mean, this shit's still going. Starbucks is going to be selling, you know, Pokemon Frappuccinos. They're going to try to hold on to this shit as long as they can. So, you know, it's just a little side project. It's lost popularity because they just didn't add enough new features. They didn't stay on top of this game. And what is the other thing, before I end this video, that I want to talk about? This game was fucking glitched to fuck. That's probably the biggest problem about it. The game was so fucking glitchy. It would crash constantly. A lot of times you would have your character on screen, you know, and all of a sudden Google Maps would fuck with the game, and, you know, it would freeze. You couldn't click on certain Pokestops, and then your character would just go running across the screen, and it would just, like, update. It would refresh the map. It was driving us fucking crazy. A lot of times, I remember that you would, like, find a Pokemon would appear, click on the Pokemon, be sent into the fucking battle, or, you know, the catch mode, or whatever it was, and then you wouldn't see the Pokemon, he'd be invisible. It was like, the fuck is up with this fucking game? It would crash. A lot of times you would be in, you know, catching a Pokemon, and then you would just get a fucking error message. And it was like the same thing, like the Pokemon running away. You were like, fuck! You were like, oh my god. How fucking annoying was that shit? I think all that stuff just really caught up to them. They didn't really do anything. They didn't even really seem like they cared. I remember, like, they would do updates on the game. I'm like, oh, look, an update. But there's probably going to be more glitches that go along with the update. Updates that weren't even fixing and porting glitches. Very annoying glitches. So people just fucking bailed out. But now we got Pokemon Sun. So, I mean, you know, you're going to have your Poke Frappuccinos and shit at Starbucks. They might release Generation 2, which might get a couple of people to re-download the game or click on it once again. I still got the game on my phone, but hey, you know, I'm not going back to it anytime soon. Even with Generation 2, I don't really give a fuck anymore. I've got Pokemon Sun, and I'm pretty fucking happy with that. Alright, until next time, motherfuckers, rest in peace, Pokemon Go. I think it's pretty much over for them.